welcome back to the Ocarina of Time walkthrough. Fortunately though, it's the only welcoming thing we have here. Things are not looking very well. So previously I pulled up the Master Sword and 7 years passed in time, and not exactly what we were expecting here. Hyrule Castle is completely destroyed, in ruin, and there are ReDeads all throughout the town, so do be careful here. One thing actually that's unique to these ReDeads, as opposed to ReDeads you'll find in the graveyard, is they don't paralyze you. They'll still latch onto you and grab you if you get close, but they'll actually paralyze you. And here's actually an interesting thing about them. Whenever you kill one ReDead, they will not try to kill you because they are all going to try and sit and kneel down over the one that's died. Until it decomposes, then they'll try and kill you. Of course, Navi was interrupting me and telling me about Kakariko Village. So I will go there pretty soon, but not yet. There's quite a bit to do in this video. Anyways, let's go head north and see what's going on here in Hyrule Castle, if it's even to be called that anymore. Yep, that's right. This is Ganon's castle now. I guess Hyrule voting polls are not very good. That was a little joke. Anyway, you cannot get to his castle at all. There's a pit of lava there, and this whole place is just in ruin. And, I mean, look at this. There are bones on the ground. Although, is that a human skull? I mean, look at the size of it. It's like the size of Link's shield. It's quite big. I don't know who died there. Maybe it was it Goliath or something? I don't know. Anyway, come back over here to the market, and if these ReDeads are too much of a problem for you, they really shouldn't be, but if they are too much of a problem, you can just go ahead and play the Sun Song if you want to. There is no point in killing these ReDeads either. It doesn't actually do anything for you, doesn't reveal anything for you, and I almost actually got attacked by them a couple times, but somehow I was able to do it. Even though I feel like it totally should have attacked me there. Look at that. I was, like, hugging it. It's the last thing you want to hug. Anyway, ReDeads are just terrifying. There's no benefit to fighting them, so you can just go ahead and leave. That door on the left you can ignore for now. I'll come back to it later on in this game. But as of right now, just go and exit. And here we are in Hyrule Field. And I want to apologize for some of the frame rate in this video. I don't know, I guess my laptop I record these on wasn't quite working very well. But it should be over now. One thing I forgot to mention, you're going to need to re-equip your items as well if you're playing on the 3DS version, because everything will just be unequipped. But on the Nintendo 64 version / GameCube / Virtual Console / whatever it is you're playing on, everything, the only items you can have equipped are the Deku Nuts, the bombs, and the Ocarina. Well, you can have the empty bottles equipped as well, but the Mask of Truth is not available, Slingshot, Boomerang, Deku Sticks, nope. All that stuff's gone, so that's pretty unfortunate. Anyway, I went ahead and changed the time back to day using the Sun Song, and I went over to Lon Lon Ranch, or as that sign said earlier, Ingo Ranch, but the white text on the screen still says Lon Lon Ranch, and I always prefer to stay true to that, so I hope you do too. Alright, so inside the stable, I just wanted to show around a bit. Here is a familiar face. It's Malon. Yes, she grew up too. I mean, that certainly would make sense. So you talk to her, and she's just going to tell you that her father, Talon, was kicked out of the ranch because apparently he was such a lazy bum and did not pull his own weight around here. And, well, you know what lazy bums get? They get unemployment. That's right, so I guess he was kicked out, or fired rather, from his own ranch. I don't know how exactly you can be fired from farming. I mean, you are literally your own employer, so that really doesn't make sense. And this is his ranch, so Ingo literally has absolutely no right to kick him out. It's always been a mystery to me, but nevertheless, he's not here anymore, or at least right now he's not here, so we'll have to figure out where he is. Anyways, let's come over here to the corral, and you'll notice now it's locked by a big gate with two, I don't know, I guess plaques of Ingo's face on them that are very 90s 64-bit graphics, well, as is everything else in this game. Anyway, you go ahead and talk to Ingo here, and he is going to say that he has such obvious talents, and he is very good at upkeeping places like a ranch. I mean, I don't know, but if it were me, if I were rich, the first thing I would not want to think of is, yeah, horse ranch, farming. Let's hire people to clean up horse manure. I mean, I don't know. It's just, if I were rich, a ranch is not the first thing I want to go to. Anyway, you can go ahead and pay him 10 rupees and you can ride one of his horses here. Now, the reason why I'm actually here is I'm doing a side quest right now that allows me to have Epona throughout the rest of this game. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. That's the whole reason I came here to Lon Lon Ranch, or excuse me, Ingo Ranch in the first place. No, it doesn't matter. You can call it Lon Lon Ranch. The white text still says it, and that's how I know it by heart. Okay, so I used Epona's song to, you know, summon Epona. You can actually climb on any horse that has a saddle, but the real horse you want is Epona, because no other horse responds to Epona's song. So I want to recommend that you practice riding Epona around and accelerating with the A button. I like how in the action icon, the word faster is like used as a verb, and that's not really the case. I've always read it as press A to faster as a kid, and I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense. But anyway, as you ride around, you can go ahead and talk to Ingo, and then he will just tell you how to talk to people while you're on the horse and how to ride one. And whenever you talk to him, or if you just ride around for longer than a minute, he'll just kick you out and say, alright, you've only paid 10 rupees, that's enough. So after that, go ahead and pay to ride again, and you can listen if you want to, but I already know how to ride the horse, and it's just very lengthy boxes of text, so I didn't do that. Okay, so go ahead and call Epona again. I mean, I'm assuming that's what you want, Epona. I mean, I sure want Epona. I don't actually know if it is possible to leave this ranch with another horse as your companion. I mean, if anyone else knows, I would like to know about it, but I don't want to try it myself because I just don't want to lose the opportunity of getting Epona and making it useless. I suppose I could just save before and then just reset my game so I could do it again, and oh my goodness, this frame rate. I'll have to really check what's wrong with my laptop. But for most of this video, as far as I know, everything looked just fine, so I won't have to worry about that. It can be a pain to jump over some of these fences too, because Epona can be pretty picky with where you're lined up and how recently you press the A button. If you jump over it correctly, then it should give you a blue rupee, so I was hoping to get back at least some of the money that I paid for Great Ingo's race here. Anyways, you talk to him, and whether you're getting better or not, he will apparently notice it, and then he will challenge you to a race, and it costs 50 rupees. So the way that this works, this is one lap around the corral with the horse, and he abuses his horse so much. I mean, look at that. I think in the 3DS version, it's a lot faster because, well, it can handle a lot more than the Nintendo 64 can, but I don't know, I think it's a lot funnier in the 3DS version. But anyways, what you want to do is you just want to stay to the side of him, cut corners as much as you can without running into them because it will slow you down, and don't just jitter the A button because it takes quite a long time to regenerate carrots. Now, my rupee count has gone down quite a bit before. That's because this actually was not my first try doing it. I just cut out all the other ones because it made the video like 6 minutes longer. Okay, and then after that, he's going to challenge you to a second race, and I think this one is a little bit harder than the first one, just because I think his riding pattern is a bit different. Like sometimes, like you see how far out he is here, so you have a huge opportunity to just cut through him, and it can be pretty difficult. I actually was terrible at this whenever I first played the game. I was so bad that I had to save right before he challenged me and then just keep reloading my game just because I would literally spend my entire wallet just trying to do this stupid race. So after finally doing it, I think it took me 6 tries or something, like seriously. And most of the reason was because my game was just lagging and the frame rate just was making it a lot harder. But once you finally do it, as he promised, you can have the horse, but you can't leave this ranch. So those gates are closed and we're stuck in here. I mean, I don't mind playing around with some chickens, that's cool I guess, but there's really nothing to do in here. There's no enemies to fight or anything. I thought there was going to be like some kind of monster or something that comes out originally and fights you and you have to use your horse to fight it. But you can't fight on your horse in this game, which is pretty disappointing. This is not Twilight Princess, you know, the better game. Anyway, after that, go ahead and just jump over the side fence into Hyrule Field, and depending on which one you jump over, you will get a different cutscene with different music. I just jumped over the cool one, which plays the epic music and shows Link on the horse. And so, as you remember in the title screen of this game, you're riding around on Epona at night. Well, now you can finally do that. You can ride around until your heart's content at night on Epona. Pretty awesome. Although, that's not very useful or practical. Anyways, come back here into Lon Lon Ranch, and you'll see Ingo standing by the doorways now, but he seems all innocent and suspicious. Don't quite know what's going on. You come out here and the gates are gone, and Malon is standing in front of the entrance to the corral. And so she's going to be very happy and very grateful to you, and just tell you that whenever Ingo was worried about Epona being taken away from here, and now she's yours, he was so worried because he was going to present Epona to Ganondorf, and since you took it away, he can no longer do that, and he was just worried, and it really troubled him. So eventually he just gave up being evil and said, I suppose I can go back to being a normal, nice person, and I'll be respectful, I'll be admirable, and I'll be, loyal. So that's pretty much what he is now, and he's pretty much now just a side character for the rest of the game. Like, he doesn't have any other purpose in the game. He just stays in that spot for the rest of the game, really. And that's it. So actually, now that this is done, this is totally optional, by the way. Even for 100%, I would not recommend doing this, because I've never actually done it before now. I just thought I would show it off. Anyway, Malon is going to challenge you to a course where you ride 2 laps around the corral and jump over some fences. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of this. This is really hard. And I mean really hard. On a scale of 1 to hard, I give it a solid 8, probably. So the secret here, because eventually I did it, probably after 10 or 15 tries. I'm serious, it was bad. So you have to jump over all of the fences, and just watch what I'm doing. The goal here is to not just abuse your horse like Ingo was. You want to conserve your carrots as much as possible. And as for the shortest ones, you don't really need to be sped up to jump over the fence. And of course you're being timed, but right whenever the text box says 1 more lap, it actually pauses the timer for a second, so you can save a couple of seconds, which is pretty nice. So as you can see here, 5 for 3 carrots. I almost timed that one incorrectly, but thankfully I didn't. You want to go ahead and try and cut corners as much as possible without actually touching the fence, because that can slow you down. And I finished at exactly 49 seconds, which is the longest possible time you can take while still beating Malon's record, because her record is 50 seconds. It's pretty hard, I know. To be honest, if you're a first-time player, I'm just going to go out ahead and tell you, do not do this, really. It's just going to give you a hard time. If you really want to, I suppose you can, but it's just going to give you a very hard time. And no thank you, I absolutely would not like to do that again. I was very angry while recording this video, so I will say. Okay, so she says she has a prize for you, but she says it's too big to give it to you, so she said she will deliver it to your house. I suppose we'll just have to see what that is later on. Anyway, you can talk to Ingo, and he's just has his goofy little face with his mustache and eyebrows that come off of his face, and he's just going to say, hello, I'm honored to be working here, and all that stuff. Okay, so Lon Lon Ranch is now saved. Well, that was easy, right? Not exactly. That was very hard for me the very first time I played this game. Okay, now our mission finally is Kakariko Village, and look at this. Look at how fast you travel on Hyrule Field now, and okay, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea why she stopped at that bridge. I've never had trouble crossing the bridge. You cannot take Epona into certain places like Kakariko Village, Zora's River. You can't take her into Kokiri Forest. You can take her into Gerudo Valley and into Lake Hylia, but you can't take her into Hyrule Castle Town. So she has a very limited range. Mostly you will just need her for Hyrule Field, and that's pretty much it. Kind of disappointing. Oh, and Lon Lon Ranch, obviously you can take her in there because that's where she comes from. Anyways, here we are in Kakariko Village, and although yes, Sheik said that there is something to do in Kakariko Village, but really the target destination is in the graveyard. And I will show you why. There are a couple of interesting things to see in the graveyard. Okay, now that we're here, you may notice while walking forward you will meet a new enemy that is holding a lantern. It is currently invisible, and then as soon as you approach it, it will become visible. Now this is a Poe, and Poes are pretty much just ghosts in Zelda games. Basically, they are souls who just hate the world, and they are just a form of pure hatred, and they just want nothing more than destruction. Not that they can really do much. They turn invisible whenever you Z-target them, so Z-targeting them is not really a very useful method. As you can see, a couple of quick spins will take it out just fine, or a couple of sword slashes. And they back away as soon as you hit them. So then it turns into this flame with a sad face on it, and then you can decide if you want to catch it in a bottle or not. And I will explain that mechanic in a different video. So, over here you'll notice that this plant thing raises up and takes you. That is actually a magic bean. Roll it up, break this box, and then collect this piece of heart. Very nice. So, that is what the magic beans turn into whenever they grow up. So, now it is basically understood what their purpose is. And different ones take you in different paths. This one is just very short, so that's all it does here in the graveyard. Okay, down this new grave. This grave wasn't here whenever we were Child Link. So you come down here, and then look who it is. It's Dampé. So I guess very unfortunate thing happened to him as well. So Dampé also has died, and he's challenging you to a race. So although he may be a ghost and he had the same laugh as the Poes, he is not evil, and yes, he's throwing fire at you. It benefits and hurts you as well, because of course if you walk into it you will combust, and then you'll have to like roll around for a bit or swing your sword to put it out. It'll do some damage to you, you know, just try and avoid it as much as you can. It is really, really hard to avoid it, and I think on this recording I was able to avoid it every single one. I will say, do not be distracted by rupees or anything else of the sort, because you want to try and follow him as fast as you can. And I mean, single green rupees really are not really worth all that much anymore. Rupees at this point of the game are sort of objective, and they don't really serve a better purpose. You may need some here and there, say if you want to like bargain shop at the bazaar or something. Well, the bazaar doesn't exist anymore because the Hyrule Castle market burnt down. Anyways, here we are, we're almost there. Do be careful, I almost jumped off twice. Thankfully I didn't though. And here we are at the end. So I made 1 minute and 5 seconds, and he thinks that is pretty fast. And I would have to agree, 1 minute and 5 seconds is pretty fast, if I do say so myself. And as a reward, he's going to give us his treasure called the Hookshot. Now, you can actually find a reference to the Hookshot in his hut in the graveyard. I actually hadn't done this, but you can go into his hut and then you can read it, his diary. And I think whether you're a kid or whether you're an adult, it'll say something different. I don't quite remember, but if you read his diary as an adult in his hut, then he will talk about this treasure he found, and he says it's so cool. So here it is right here in this chest. Open it up, and this is the Hookshot. This kind of turns you into Spider-Man, except not really. Well, kind of. You can use this thing to pull yourself towards any other surface. It has a lot of practical use in this game. You can also use it as a weapon, which is what I actually use it for most of the time, just because it's just so practical that way. Okay, so you come through this door, and he says be careful on your way back, but it's really not that bad. So you see this block, and you'll notice the symbol looks familiar. Navi points out that it's the same one that's on the Door of Time. So pull out your ocarina and play the song that's related to time, of course, the Song of Time. I don't know why I said it that way, but whatever, I did. And would you look at that, these blocks are gone. So these are going to become puzzles within this game now, so to be ready to see those. It's a pretty cool mechanic too, and Master Quest utilizes them a lot more than the original game, which makes it pretty interesting and pretty unique. Alright, so here is, this is the windmill house now that we're in. You may have come in here just to see what it was like whenever you were a kid, but this is the windmill house. It's just called Question Mark. But anyway, over on this ledge there's a piece of heart, so that's 3 out of 4 pieces. Done. Okay, so you just come over to here. Looks pretty mad. This is Guru, and he's just playing his music box here with his trumpet horn, I suppose. and he's going to talk to you about some mean Ocarina kid who played a song and messed up this windmill. I sense a time paradox, if you don't already. So you pull out your Ocarina, and he's going to be very surprised. Whoa, you have an Ocarina? Well, I might as well teach the song to you. So, yeah, don't be like that mean kid, but here, I'll teach you the song. That's, not very advisable. Yeah, this person did this mean thing to me. Let me show you exactly what he did so you possibly can do it too. Alright, don't mind if I do. Okay, so he teaches you the new song, the Song of Storms. And as you can see, it is raining now inside of this windmill. And that's not just a screen effect. It actually is raining inside of this windmill house. So you can play it at any time in the game, literally anywhere, and it'll rain for a short amount of time. And as you can see, you talk to him and he'll just be angry because there's a storm again. So you'll see now, look at how fast this thing is going. It's going very fast. Getting me dizzy. Anyway, that is it for this video, so join me in the next video.